Welcome back to Red Hot Wrestling. Today, I am finally reacting to a Jim Cornette video, and there were many. He reviewed Dynamite, and I did want to pick which video, like, I would react to, and which ones I would just listen to on my spare time. Just because I normally listen to them. And for the channel, I needed to pick this one because I think this one's probably going. I know this one's gonna be the most entertaining. There's actually two. There's the Chris Jericho confrontation with Don Callis, which is gonna come out. Don't know when. I might post two of them. When this comes out, I think I'll post the Don Callis one on the same day. But I'm gonna react to that one and this Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. I don't know why I struggle with that. I know who he is. Wheeler Useless, as Jim would call it. But yeah, because it's Pockets, the company mascot. He hates Pockets. I don't like. I hate him too. I think it's a joke. The position in which he's booked is horrendous. I can, like, if he was like a comedy character that got jobbed out or was just backstage doing skits or whatever, sure, that would work. But he's a joke. He is a certified. The fact that this man has a belt is just pissing me off because he should not. This guy beat, who did he beat? He beat Waldo. He did. I don't think he beat Waldo, but I think he went like he. What's the word I'm looking for? At one stage, he had a match with Wardlow and it went like 20 minutes, and Wardlow had to it was a challenge. Wardlow versus Pockets. Never in a million years. This guy should get squashed every single time. He's a joke, but want to react to Jim Cornette's review of that match. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Dynamite. No. Yeah, I want to react to this, and like I said, Don Callis one, which will come out after this one, whenever I upload this one, which will probably be tomorrow, which is Tuesday, because I'm recording this on Monday. So before we get into it, of course, as I always say, but just please do it. Subscribe. Please subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions, and like the video. Let's do this.
Should we go in order?
Yes. I mean, I actually called you up and said, please don't skip any of this. It's amazing.
Well, it was too late. I'd skipped a bit of it, but I got the flavor before I started. And obviously skippable at the start, the opening match. Again, we're back to the company mascot opening the program against Wheeler Useless in defense of his cosplay title belt. And I wrote, so they've given up before they've even started tonight.
And like this thing, yeah, which really is irritating. Like for like maybe 10, 11, I don't know. It was like a lot of weeks in a row. Pockets would open the show with like a 18 to 20-minute match where you retain the title, the international title, in a open challenge of sorts. He just defended the title with no story behind it, nothing. It was just a match most of the time. And obviously he'd win because I think he's on like a long win streak. I don't know how long it is. Because obviously we know Tony can't be jerking off to this man backstage anytime he sees him, because for some reason, well, actually we know why, because Tony's a mark. He's a mark. Let's be real. That's what he is. He loves Pockets, and he thinks this guy's gonna be a star or be this big star of his company, be a world champion one day. He will get the belt one day, and that day is the day AEW it's just gonna be ruined. It's already ruined. It already sucks. Don't get me wrong, but that is the day this company is gonna die, when Pockets gets the world belt. Because that should never happen. Because Tony Khan's a mark for this guy. Jerks off to him backstage. Let's be real. It's crazy.
I think.
Oh, and also the thing when he puts him first and he before the whole MJF and Adam Cole thing took off, the first segment was always the high point of the show in terms of the ratings, and then it would just go down, just plummet. The ratings would just plummet because the show was bad, most of the time, actually all the time. But it would just plummet, and Cassidy would then, in part, have the highest rating on the show, so it makes it look like this guy brings in the viewers, but when he doesn't, it's the high point of the show because people come from, I believe, the Big Bang Theory airs before Dynamite, so the people that watch that would usually see the show, and it's the start of the show. It's usually the high point, and then it just goes down. Case in point, if he's in a segment that's not the first segment, his segment would lose viewers because anyone that's not a mark for this kind of stuff ain't watching Pockets because it's a joke.
Of all the talents in the wrestling business that never got a break to show what they could do, or a guy like Steve Bradley comes to mind, or the main eventers in days gone by that were outstanding performers that didn't get paid properly or had injuries derail their careers early. And a fucking joke gets a free ride and a highly paid job because he's the fucking teacher's pet. How many of the guys in the locker room do you think would like to fucking shove a goddamn infected hypodermic needle in his spine
Oh, no,
as
they
he
love him.
walks by in catering?
No, they love him. They all say great things about him.
They all say wonderful things about him. How many people do you think are sitting there going, I've got talent. I've got youth. I've got ability. I got a personality. Wait a minute. Now I'm thinking not many. Well, they're probably saying that to themselves, but in all seriousness, there are some talents there in the company. And they're sitting there looking at this guy getting 15 minutes to go out and jack off in a pair of fucking blue jeans and his fucking hatchet-headed haircut and his unimpressive fucking overall appearance just because the boss thinks he's cute.
And he just did an interview. I just read quotes, at least, that were going around like the day before and the day of Dynamite. He did an interview saying that he's the one who got Wheeler Yuta his job in AEW.
And so we got him for another thing to blame him for. But anyway.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta as well. Moxley, Danielson. Obviously, Plumber Moxley we know is an idiot. He's just dumb. There's something mentally wrong with that guy, so we'll push that aside. Bryan Danielson, a guy I thought maybe knew what stars look like and are supposed to be. That guy believes in Wheeler Yuta, and for a couple of weeks they let him get the pin over, I think it was what it was. Was it Omega? Not Omega, but like the Young Bucks, and it was the Elite. I forgot when. But yeah, and I heard the press conference. It might have been off the double or nothing. Yeah, I think they had the Anarchy in the Arena match, the garbage match. They're like, oh, he's gonna be a star and all this, and they're mentoring him and all. No. And one of my friends also said he's a future star. No, Wheeler Yuta will never be a star, ever. He doesn't have the look, nor the ability to be a star. On the mic, in the ring, no. He's never going to be a star.
So, and I thought, can you imagine a wrestling fan waking up from a coma after 30 years, and this is the first thing they see, and they're like, what now? Wrestling has turned into bum fights with homeless guys.
You know, above any other episode or time in wrestling history, if you took someone from like the 1950s, the beginning of wrestling on television nationwide, and they traveled forward into the future and landed here, and said, oh, wrestling's on. Let me see what's on national TV on wrestling. And this was the episode. I mean, that's like a mind-blowing future that you can't even imagine.
And then you think, can I go back? Even if I can't go back in time, just put me back in the fucking coma. All right, so Pockets won. And then immediately Claudio and the plumber were in and were beating him up.
Did you see Moxley's stomps?
Yes. He thinks he's Austin. He's trying to prove that theory. You can get away with shitty corner stomps if you're Steve Austin. He ain't Steve Austin. But it wasn't any worse looking than anything else, because here came the Puddin' Gang. And between, who was the one guy? I think Useless was throwing fake punches that wouldn't.
And on Plum Moxley, and he shit kicks, he shit punches, he shit forearms, he shit everything. Anybody, and I will argue this with anybody, anyone that thinks Jon Moxley, Plumber Moxley, is a good wrestler, in-ring performer, in-ring wrestler, is fooling themselves. Now, those are people that like his personality for whatever reason, but you cannot justify that he's a good wrestler or has good matches. You just can't. You just can't. Now, if you like the garbage matches, sure. You would enjoy that kind of match, but in terms of being an in-ring wrestler, he's trash. Horrific.
To hurt my Aunt Lola. And they just all flail their arms and legs about. They're not even trying. They think if everybody's in motion, people won't focus on any one part of it to see that it's obviously phony and they're not trying. And then out come the Lucha Brothers and Alex, and they had more fake fighting. And there was a standoff for a minute where I guess they're the baby faces. They cleared the ring and the BBC grabbed chairs and nothing happened. And then Tony apparently screamed, "Play Kingston's music." And then Kingston came out and had a sloppy fight with Claudio, and everybody started the sloppy fight again. And the BBC bail out and go back out into the people. They're such hot heels, they just stand there. Nobody attempts anything. And Kingston challenges for a stadium stampede match between whoever was in the ring and whoever was out on the floor. And I think he said, "Get you a couple of friends." And they're going to have it at Wembley Stadium. Oh, joy. They did what the fuck? We'll just have a stadium stampede match for no fucking reason whatsoever with fucking preliminary guys involved because we're in a stadium and it's 5-on-5, and that way there's more no rules bullshit to please all of these people that are coming thinking they're going to see a fucking wrestling event.
Huh.
Your thoughts, Mr. Plummer?
Joke's on you. The match, I didn't really care. I didn't watch the match, I have to be honest. This is the
Oh boy. Oh man, Brian Last and his perfect, spot on Plumber Moxley impression. That Jon Moxley impression is spot on.
Your thoughts, Mr. Plummer?
Joke's on you. The match.
This is just another reason for Jon Moxley to bleed and have these nonsense garbage matches with barbed wire and screwdrivers and forks. Anyway, because he's badass. All he thinks that.
Match, I didn't really care. I didn't watch the match, I have to be honest. This is the one thing I
No, you
skip
can't.
through.
You can't.
But the post-match, again, I watch Moxley now because I'm convinced he can't do anything. So I watch him, and you watch these stomps, and they look awful. And I remember, as a kid doing stomps on my friends on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And every one of those kids from summer camp had better stomps than Jon Moxley did here. It looked really bad. And then, again, it's one thing if it was like,
you forget, I've seen a lot of people literally on their first day of wrestling school. Not as a joke. I've seen that. And most of them were better than that.
And again, what is this setting up? It's not Orange Cassidy. Remember, briefly, he was teaming with Darby Allin every week. Darby has 2 other feuds to work on, so he can't be in a third one right now. It's him with, as you call them, the Puddin' Gang. What is that? The best friends. Nobody wants to see that. You're forcing this thing. They had a match on Rampage that a very small audience watched, but it was the biggest one for Rampage in a while. And now they're doing their...
Well, then they had the ultimate garbage match wrestling, in the parking lot and whatever the fuck. And now they want to try to top that with more shit that will just wear the poor folks in Wembley out before they see the matches they actually paid to see.
I have to say, I've never been a fan of the Stadium Stampede, but this has to be the least anticipated one ever, right? The least demand for one. You don't even know who the opponents are.
10 days ahead of time. Nobody's going to want to see it now that they know who's in it, but anything that's announced 10 days ahead of time would not be highly anticipated. You can't highly anticipate, boy, as soon as I walk across this street, a bread truck's going to run me over. You don't have a lot of time to anticipate that.
Who's going to be the Blackpool Combat Club's multiple surprise members? Will Danielson be back?
No, he apparently they could be kayfabing everybody, but a broken arm, and why would you? Oh, let's get one of the biggest stars, most valuable members of the roster. He's just recovering from a broken arm. Let's put him in a fucking 10-man garbage match. You wouldn't do that anyway if you were not insane.
Unfortunately, Tony Khan is. That is something Tony would do. I don't know if Brian Danielson, my bad, is healthy, or whether he's still injured. But if he wasn't, I'm sure they would just slot him in straight into that match. Just put him in, and he would go along with it because I don't know why he's a star. I don't know.
That doesn't preclude Tony, but
there you go.
I'm going for Renee Moxley Good.
Renee Moxley.
I think she'd be a good partner on the other side.
Interesting.
She'd probably like the BBC. But 20 minutes.
Boy.
The end of this program was, again, basically every indie wrestler's wet dream. Are you wheezing over there?
I'm laughing at whatever it is you said.
I don't know what I said. And
oh, boy.
I'm sure it was entirely accurate.
As always with Jim and Brian, you laugh, but also they speak the truth because it's facts. Tony, and it's not just Jim, even people that aren't necessarily AEW marks, but they don't really criticize and a lot of times like Dynamite and AEW. Even they know this for All In. A lot of this shit's been rushed. Most of it doesn't have a story. What the fuck? And again, I love Bullet Club Gold. I love Juice Robinson. I love Switchblade. I love the guns. What the fuck are they doing with Twinkle Toes and Hangman and whatever the fuck? I don't even know. It's the six. Why isn't it just Take a Shit and Kenny Omega 1-on-1? Why drag in Bullet Club Gold and the Omega Take a Shit match kind of has been built. But then the promo he cut was so stupid when he was like when he did the interview with Jim, when you've been stabbed over the head with a screwdriver, but I just want to move on. What? Come on, man. It's all just been put together, rushed. A lot of the matches don't have a story. Even the Adam Cole MJF match. I can guarantee you this was not the plan. I guarantee you this wasn't the plan. They caught lightning in the bottle. This was not the plan. They did not expect Adam Cole and MJF to be this hot, so they just had to keep them together. And he's booking on the fly at this point. A lot of the matches don't have a story. It's a 4-way women's match that's going to be horrible. I guarantee you it's going to be horrible. I think Sarai's in there and Britt Baker's in there. That's when you already know it's going to be bad. Britt Baker is horrible. She's horrible. In the ring, her promos are good, but in the ring, she's just bad. Saraya is rusty as all hell. I think Sheeta's obviously in it because she's the champion. I don't know who's going to be the other woman. That's going to be bad. There's no story. Just been put together. He's booking this like his fucking GM mode. Oh, it's a pay-per-view. Let me have garbage matches. Let me have Let me have gimmick matches, a fatal 4-way for the women's title, and then maybe one story. Just trash. I'm not excited for it. I wasn't gonna be excited for it. But yeah, that was Jim's review of Cassidy versus Wheeler Useless. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and again, leave your comments down below. If you disagree with me, tell me why. And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Peace.